Hey everybody, welcome to the 4-4 review from the Envision book. This is multiplying a decimal by a whole number. We're going to start off this lesson by just a quick vocabulary review. We all know a decimal is a number with one or more digits to the right of the decimal point. How many decimal places does 3 and 65/100ths have? So how many decimal places means we're looking at, if you remember the chart that's in my room or in your teacher's room, we have that chart that has ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 100,000s, I'm abbreviating, and millions. And then there's a little big old dot right here, and then we've got the tenths. Then we've got the hundredths. And then we have the thousandths. Okay, so we're looking to the places to the right of the decimal. Notice it says to the right of a decimal point. So if I was looking at 3 and 65/100ths, how many decimal places does it have? Well, if I'm looking to the right of the decimal, I see a 6 and I see a 5. How many digits is that? That would be 2 digits. And then it says use number sense to place the decimal point in the product. So it says 8.7 times 24. So you're multiplying a decimal and a whole number. 8.7 is between 8 and 9. So really, they estimated first. They looked at the whole number because you round to the greatest place. That 7 tells that 8 to bump up. Or it can stay the same if you use compatible numbers. But 9 times 24 is 216, and 8 times 24 is 192. So you can use either. This is the estimation part of it, and you can decide, okay, well, what am I going to use? Compatible numbers, or am I going to round up? So they did both for you. But it's 8.7. If we had a number line right here, and we've got 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to 7. Well, here is 8. Oh, that's a weird 8. And then 9 is here. Well, in between all of the numbers, there are tiny little lines. Usually 10. So, or 9. Because the tenth would be the whole number. Because 10 tenths equal what? 1 whole. So 8.7 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's about right there. Okay, so it's closer to 9 than it is to 8. We know that because, when we round 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4 tell us to stay the same. And then 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 tell us to round up. So, that's what they did here. And it kind of gives us an idea of, okay, well, our answer or our product is going to be between 192 and 216. So when they did the standard algorithm, 8.7 times 24, they got 2088. Well, it's our job to put the decimal place in the correct spot. And what I've told you is that when we multiply decimals, it's easier to pretend that it's a whole number. So all you have to do is move that decimal place to the right, however many digits, and then in this case it's only 1 digit, and you put it here. But what you do up here, you have to do back down here, and you got to go the opposite way. So there's a total of 1 decimal place move. Okay, 1 move. So if this is my product, and it's a whole number, my decimal is automatically and always assumed to be there. It's an understood decimal. So if I move it 1 place to the left, my answer would be 208 and 8/10. And that is between 192 and 216. So it's reasonable. Okay, so just as a review. Excuse me. Forgive me. All right, so let's keep going. So this one has us to apply it. So find 16 times 5.3, and it tells us first to multiply the whole numbers. Then place the decimal point correctly in the product of 16 times 53. So if you look what they did, they changed 5.3 to 53. Okay, they moved that decimal place. How many places did they move it? They moved it 1 place to the right. to give me a whole number. So now I can easily multiply this. Well, 6 times 3, that is 18. I'm going to drop my 8. I'll carry my 1. 6 times 5 is 30, plus 1 is 31. So that's my first partial product. Then I need a placeholder here, because in order to move on to my tens to multiply, I have to have a placeholder. So this 1 times 3 is 3. That's simple. And 1 times 5 is 5. Now I can add these two partial products together to get my final product. 8 plus 0 is 8. 3 plus 1 is 4. And 5 plus 3 is 8 as well. So as a whole number, I have 848. But remember, I've moved my decimal place one place to the right. And what I do up here, I have to come back down and do up here. So if my answer is 848 in a whole number, here's my understood decimal. I have to move it one place to the left. So it would be really 84.8. So 16 times 5.3 is 84.8. Okay? So this is a word problem, and we need to learn how to dissect these and find the important information. So it says Derek buys 12 roses that cost $2.49 each. How much did Derek spend in all? Well, I think this whole sentence right here is important. Okay? I also think this little phrase, in all, is important as well, because we want to know the total amount he spent on all of these roses. We know that one costs $2.49. We can add that 12 times and do repeated addition, but it's inefficient. So it's easier just to multiply. Okay? So that's what we're going to do. We are going to multiply these numbers. So I'm going to write my decimal first. 249, and I'm going to write it as a whole number because I know my decimal is here, and I move it one place, 2 places to the right. It gives me a whole number, and I'm multiplying by 12. Well, I've done this before. That's a 3-digit by 2-digit problem in multiplication. So 2 times 9 is 18. Drop my 8, carry my 1. 2 times 4 is 8. Plus 1 is 9. My marker's kind of thick here, so it's not giving me my functioning 9, but you get the point. 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, now what do I need right here? I need something before I can move on to my tens place. I need a placeholder. Okay, so now 1 times 9 is 9, 1 times 4 is 4, and 1 times 2 is 2. Now I can add these two partial products together to get my final product. 8 plus 0 is 8. 9 plus 9, that's 18, so I'm going to drop an 8, and I'm going to carry 1. Or regroup 1, I should say. 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9. 2 plus nothing, we're just going to bring it down, it's 2. So go back up here to the top. How many places did I move my decimal to the right? I moved it twice. So that means I'm going to move my decimal in this whole number 2 places to the left. So here's my decimal. I'm going to move it 2 places. So my answer is Derek spent, and I need my money sign because we're talking, or dollar sign because we're talking about money here. He spent $29.88. Okay. So this is a good time to pause the video. I want you to try this one, and then we'll go over it. But I'm going to keep going because I don't have that long on these videos. But I want you to try it, pause it, work it out, and then see if you're right. So it says a store sells 14.5 ounces cans of tomatoes for 89 cents each. Okay, this is important because here are my two numbers that I'm going to end up multiplying. If a store sells 35 cans one day, how many total ounces of tomatoes are sold? Okay, so that's my first question. This is question 1. Second question is, what is the total cost? Okay, so there's two different questions here. There's two parts. Okay, so I'm going to label this part A. So it wants to know if a store sells 35 cans one day, how many total ounces of tomatoes are sold? Okay, well that's simple. All I have to do is multiply my 14.5 ounce cans by 35. Because I sell 35 in one day, and we know that they're 14 ounces. How many are sold? We could add 14.5 35 times, but that would be inefficient. It's easier just to make this a whole number and multiply. So I'm moving it one place to the right to get me a whole number. So now I have 145 times 35. That's easy. You've done it before. So 5 times 5 is 25. I'm going to drop my 5. Carry my 2. 5 times 4 is 20, plus 2 is 22. Drop my 2, carry my 2. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 2 is 7. Now before I can move on, I have to have a placeholder. So now I can move on to my tens digit. 3 times 5 is 15, so I'm going to drop my 5, carry my 1. I'm done with this one, so I'm up here. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 1 is 13, so I'm going to drop my 3, carry my 1. I'm done with this one. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. Now I can add these two partial products together. 5 plus 0 is 5. 5 plus 2 is 7. 7 plus 3 is 8, 9, 10. Drop my 0, carry a 1, or regroup a 1. I'm bad about saying carry. 4 plus 1 is 5. Okay, now what did I do up here? I moved one place to the right. So here I have to move one place to the left. So my first answer is, how many total ounces of tomatoes are sold? Well, 507.5 ounces of tomatoes are sold each day. Okay. Then it says, what is the total cost? So we're going to take this number right here, and we're going to multiply it by how much each can cost, which is 89 cents. Okay, so here's part B. And this is, question 2. So I've got 507.5 times 89. Make this a whole number by moving it one place to the right. So I have a thousandths digit. I can do that, no worries. Okay, so 9 times 5 is 45. I drop my 5, I carry my 4. 9 times 7 is 63, plus 4 is 67, so I'm going to drop my 7 and carry my 6. 9 times 0 is 0, plus 6 is 6. 9 times 5, 45. Then I need something right here. It's called a placeholder, so I can move on to my tens. 8 times 5 is 40, drop my 0, carry my 4. 8 times 7 is 56, plus 4 is 60, drop my 0 again, carry my 6. That's funny how that's working out. 8 times 0 is 0, plus 6 is 6, and 8 times 5 is 40. Once I add these two partial products together, 5, 7, 6. 6 plus 5 is 11. Drop 1, regroup a 1. 4 plus 1 is 5, and bring down my 4. Now, I move my decimal place one place to the right. So I'm going to have to move it one place to the left. 1. So my product is, whoops, there goes my pen. Told you it's acting crazy. So my product is 45,167 and 5/10. Okay, so that's a lot. I hope I did that right. If I didn't, send me an email, let me know, or tell me tomorrow when you see me. I'm pretty sure that's correct. Now I could also do, how much let's see. I could also say that if 89, yeah, that should be right. That should be right. I hope. I don't know. I'm going to look on this one, and I will get back to you tomorrow on this. I'm pretty sure it's right, but if it's not, and you see that I've done something wrong, please let me know. Like I said, I'm not perfect. I make mistakes, but I usually try to figure out where I've made that mistake, which is what I want you to always practice. It's kind of like error analysis. You always want to look back at your problem, double check your work, which is what I'm trying to do now. But it's been a long day, guys, and so I'm doing the best I can to survive here. All right, so what I want you to do is I want to give you some problems to practice. So I'm going to give you 3 problems. So you can pause the video when I'm done writing, and then I'm going to solve them. And I'm going to give you 2 problems because I have about a minute. So I want you to try 11.6 or 11 6/10 times 8. And then the second one I want you to try is 32.7 or 32 7/10 times 14.